Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a video for what's happening inside the greenhouse for October. It is almost winter time, so I'm just doing some preparations for the winter. So this is the Cattleya Boulegiana Billy Faye. This was a gift from a friend of mine, and it has been in bloom for about a month. That's actually quite a long time. It does not look like it's going to drop any of its blooms anytime soon. But yeah, so this plant is doing extremely great. I just repotted it about not even a year ago, so probably like 7 months ago. And yes, I do know that it's kind of funky right here. So what happened was when I pulled this plant out of its old pot, I noticed that it was growing slantedly upwards and downwards at the same time. So when it was like, say it was growing like this, and then there were growths that were coming off on that side, and there were growths coming off on the bottom side. So what I did was I turned the plants kind of sideways, so that way the growths were coming out on the ends, but they had space to emerge, because the way that it was planted the last time, the growths that were growing like at the bottom, they basically were at the bottom of the pot, and they just couldn't emerge, so they all rotted, and that's not what I wanted. So when I kind of planted this sideways like this, all the growths were able to emerge, and that's why there's like some growths over on that side, because this plant actually grows that way outwards. The Massivalias that are enjoying the cool weather are blooming right now. So this is one of my Massivalias. This one stalled. Well, actually it didn't stall. It was still growing, but it didn't bloom during the summer because it was just so darn hot. And what happened was when the weather started to cool down, it completely started blooming. And these are actually not the first of its blooms for this season. It started blooming a long time ago, but I just didn't really have a chance to film it. I'm sorry if it's not able to focus. But yeah, this plant is just exploded pretty much. It's huge. This one has been in bloom for about a month now, and you can see from the edges of the flowers that they are about to drop at any moment now. So they've been going for a long time. And I don't know if I have a shot of it before, but actually this one is a little bit younger looking pretty much, but you can still see that there are some dark edges right there, because it is going to drop probably like this week. Now I want to show you guys my little babies. So some of my babies are doing good, and then some of them are not, but most of them are doing pretty spectacular. My Sophronitis cernua, these are the ones that I bought in a flask, and then I deflasked them, and I just put them in pots because I was so lazy. I didn't want to mount every single one of them. But I did have some deaths, so there was one over there. But overall, they are doing really great. Just have to get them to bloom is what I have to do. My Vanda seedlings are doing wonderful as well. This is the Vanda Amoena. And there's just like that one gigantic one, and these are also from flasks as well. My other Vanda over on this side, they have some discoloration on them, but it's not too bad. Most of them have survived. I think it's just the really small ones have survived, or have died. And I have some Paphiopedilums, and unfortunately during a time when I was just very down and I didn't go out to check on them, the Paphiopedilums just needed more watering, and I couldn't give it to them, so I unfortunately killed a whole bunch of them. Sorry. I have some of my Cattleyas here that I purchased not too long ago, so these are still kind of in their, not so much like in their acclimating phase, but they are not even a year from last yet. So I have another, like my Neophonetia falcata. I always kill these, so I'm surprised I even have some left, to be honest with you. But I've honestly killed a whole bunch of them, and my Cycnochus are not doing too well either. However, on the good side, my Brassavola nodosa crossed with Cattleya schilleriana. These are pretty recent, like they're within maybe a year or so of deflasking, and they're doing pretty good. I mean, I just feel like the Cattleya crosses are doing awesome. Like these are the Cattleya intermedia cross with schilleriana over on this side. So there's like one right there. My Rhynchostylus gigantea, they're getting gigantea. I'm just kidding. I make terrible jokes. So I have some deaths right there. You can see, I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. And I have some that are just doing awesome. So there's another death. But overall, like most of them have survived. Moving on, so these are my Cattleyas Lodigicii. I can never say that word correctly. But these are doing fantastic. They're awesome. And some of them are pretty big already. Like they're the size of the plugs that you buy from like Carmela or whatever, you know. But these are like the seed grown. So I'm super excited to like see what they look like. Woo, so excited. And then these are some more of the Cattleya, but these are different types. And these were deflasked like a year later, so not as old as these guys over here, but I have some deaths here too. You can see, you know, the empty ones, but they're not too bad, and they've survived one winter already, and this one has survived 2 winters. I mean, that's that's like 2 years worth of growth right there. These guys grow so slow. And then I have some more of the Cattleya crosses over here. I think that the Cattleya babies just do awesome for me. So I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm just gonna stick with those because I can't seem to get some of my other ones to survive. Haha. How awesome is this? Yeah, that's right. That's right, suckers. It's in bloom. And it smells slightly like coconut, which is where it's got its name from. So this is not a foul-smelling Bulbophyllum. It's so dainty. And it only took like 2 years to get to this. I mean, like, it seriously took such a long time to even bloom. It grew really well. I mean, it's just such a good grower, but wasn't blooming for quite a long time, and I almost gave up on it, but I guess it was like, oh no, I better do something before she throws me away. And further into the jungle, you have the Stapelia attracting all the flies. Look at that. That's pretty gross. And pretty awesome at the same time. So the Stapelia smells like carcass, and that's why all the flies are like, ooh, food. And what they do is they stay in there and they lay those eggs, which are those white things, are deep, deep inside of the flower. Why am I talking like this? And then in about a day or two, the little eggs will hatch and the little baby flies will come out, and they'll be like, oh my god, there's no food. The larvae, I mean. And they would wiggle around and they would try to find food, and they're like, Mom didn't leave us any food. And they would probably like dry off and die. Not probably, I mean, like for reals, they would dry off and die, and it's just such a sad thing to see and also gross at the same time. But I can see why some people don't want to grow these guys, because it's just kind of gross. The BL Yellowbird is doing fantastic. Look at just how big that plant is in the back. And it's been in bloom now for about a month. And usually these guys bloom for quite a long time. They start out as a rusty yellow color, and then they turn into this bright orange color, and then they die off. So you can see that this bloom on the left right here is an old flower. It's about to drop, and then the two on the sides are the newer flower. This is the Potanera or Potanera Paradise Beauty Golden Angel. I think I got this one from Trader Joe's quite a while ago, and this might be the third time it's bloomed. I'm not quite sure, but it's just a really cute yellow. It's soft yellow, not intensely bright orange yellow. See where there are spots on that petal? I really love that because it just adds a little bit to the flower, and it just makes everything look a little bit more unique than just the yellow color. It adds a little bit of texture. This is the BLC Your Mine, and it's actually spelled Y-O-U-R, Your Mine, which kind of bothers me every time I look at it because I don't know whether the person who named it just wanted to have it named that way, but it bothers me anyway. But it's just a really cute flower. It hasn't fully opened yet, and it was all the way in the back as well, kind of squish. So this sometimes the damage of the pests, and also because it's squished in the back, kind of makes the flowers look a little bit funky. This one was all the way in the back, and I tried to pull it to the front so I could do a video and also enjoy it, and I broke off one of the flowers, so very, very sad about that. Unfortunately, that is what happens when they get very bushy and start to snag on each other. So this is the EPLC Volcano Trick Hawaii, and this was a gift from a dear friend of mine, Yen Yen's Gardens, on YouTube. So if you guys are not subscribed to her, please check out her channel. This is the Rhynchoritis Bangkok Sunset, and it was initially from Most Orchids. So this one has been with me for about a year now, and look at those awesome red spotting on the body of the plant. This plant doesn't need as much light as like Vandas do, but I still grow it the way that I do Vandas because I don't want to have to remember too many things, and so that's why this plant has the red spotting from having too much light. And these are the Christmas cactus. So they're not the Thanksgiving cactus. They're not the Thanksgiving cactus. They're not sold in stores anymore. Usually the ones that are sold in stores as Christmas cactus are actually Thanksgiving cactus. And these guys, the Christmas cactus, have a finer edge. They're not spiky, so right there. And they don't have a lot of hairs on the ends the way that the Easter cactus do. And the flowers are different than the Easter cactus too. And I have this one here as well, and this one has a lot more buds. You can see there, this one, the bud here is already more established than the other one, so this one will probably bloom first. They like to have a ton of sun in the summer, and then they have to like to have reduced sun in the winter. I know a lot of people who grow these and they're wondering why theirs never bloom, and most of the time it has to do with the sun. If there's not a lot of light, they tend not to grow that fast and they tend to not bloom. So that's something to consider when you're growing these guys, is just to provide them with an immense amount of sun. These guys get about, seriously, like at least 1,500 foot candles to about 3,000. So it is in a really bright spot in the summer, and then in the winter they get about 1,000 to 2,000 foot candles, but they get quite a bit of sun. So I think that seriously is the key to getting these guys to grow really fast and bloom. That's something to consider if your plant is stalling and not doing that well, or if you've had it for a year or more and it hasn't bloomed yet. So I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you guys next time.